Welcome. I Googled cost of living in Tacoma this morning. First link, bestplaces.net. I popped open. I noticed that the median home price hadn't been updated in 11 months. It was $65,000 off. Can I leave you hanging like that? In this video, I will touch upon cost of living in Tacoma as I understand as a realtor, and then I'm going to dig in deeper into the taxes, tech, and definitely housing. As a real estate agent since 2001, this channel is about what I know best, living, working, and playing here in Tacoma and the Puget Sound. Now to take a quick trip to the computer to show you what took my eye, and away we go. So this is the site that when I clicked on Google, #1 site, cost of living Tacoma, this is where it took me, bestplaces.net. When I hovered over median home costs, I could see that it was last updated almost a year ago in August. The numbers changed, it's closer to 500,000. So if you're relying on the internet, be forewarned or do your homework and double check when it's been updated. And here overall, all these expenses were last updated almost 2 years ago, so pre-COVID. So after bestplaces.net, I did some digging. I came across Missouri's work. They did a survey 2021. For the first quarter 2022, it seemed like it's reputable. As you'll see, Washington is 113, meaning if the average is 100, you need to bring 13 extra dollars to have the same standard of living. Red's higher, so West Coast, Alaska, Hawaii, and the Northeast are the highest in the nation. South, Midwest are less expensive based on the cost of living index here. So I'm going to extract these in this row right here. So Washington's ranked 39th out of 50. As you saw, Washington State's ranked 39th out of 50th. California makes us look good. If you're coming from the heartland, you're going to need to bring some extra money because it will cost more to live here. And one of the things that doesn't make the press is that our minimum wage is the highest in the nation. We're at $14.49 federally, at $7.25. So I'm sure there's an economic professor that would say that trickles through to expenses. Grocery came in at $109. We look like the United States. We got Costco, Walmart, Safeway, Albertsons, Amazon, Whole Foods. We have high-end grocers, discount. So I would say probably, and then Kroger is represented out here. They bought Fred Meyer. So all the big players are out here. With utilities, we come in at 89. My sense on utilities is that, one, Washington State has a huge amount of hydroelectric power. We produce like 27% in the United States. Grand Coulee Dam is on the east side. It's the 7th largest dam in the world, even though it was built, 80 years ago. Plus, we have a mild climate. We don't get too cold in the winter or too hot in the summer. We might have a week of 90-degree days, and in the winter we might have a week or two that might not get above freezing during the day. So cheap electricity rates plus mild winter and summer helps keep that down. Transportation, we come in at $114, and it doesn't include car payments, lease payments, that sort. Plus it doesn't account for our gasoline tax. We're like 8th highest in the nation at 49.4 cents per gallon. So depends on how much you drive. Health-wise, here in Washington State, we were graded at 121. Here at Tacoma-Puget County, I can say that you don't have to go far for quality medical care. We have two groups, multi-care health systems.
which are spread throughout the county, as well as the Catholic Health Initiative. So those are the two main groups. They're downtown Tacoma, close by. And if you can figure out how to bring down anybody's medical bill, share the information with me because I want to know. A quick timeout. As you know, YouTube has a subscribe button, so we can make this an interactive process. It's free, it's easy, and a click away. We touched on the cost of living components. Now let's talk about taxes. Mark Twain said, a tax is a fine for doing well, and a fine is a tax for doing wrong. We'll talk about three types. The first one is sales tax. Sales tax, the state level is 6.5%. And through the other jurisdictions, county or the city, typically it comes up, I don't know, another 3.5 points. Here in Tacoma, I pay 10.3%. That's eye-popping. Olympia is like 9.4, but generally it's 10%-ish here on the west side. So if you go out for a meal for $100, there's going to be a 10% charge on top of that. So it gets you. The one exception is groceries. If you go at the grocery store, you don't pay on your normal food items. If you consider alcohol, cigarettes, candy, pop, normal food items, the state doesn't, and you get dinged for that. The second type of tax that you can't get away from is property tax. Their information I looked, it's like Washington averages 0.88% across the state. It's based on several things. Here in Tacoma, I pay 1.14%. So let's just say it's 1%. Your house is valued or assessed at $500,000. That means you're going to be paying $5,000 a year for property tax. And if you don't own it free and clear, if you got a mortgage, then the mortgage company will pay it for you and include that in the monthly payment. Third type of tax that we'll talk about, state income tax. You're off the hook. We don't have one. In Oregon, it's flip-flopped. They have a state income tax, but no sales tax. Here in Washington, we have sales tax, but no income tax. Don't know why. So we talked about taxes. Now let's talk about tech. Tacoma doesn't have the tech, but King County, Seattle, and Bellevue do. A company called Amazon blew up, started around 2010. It's tough to have the precise numbers, but it seemed like it was reported they had like 5,000 tech and corporate people in Seattle. Since that time, they've slowly been migrating towards Bellevue. But now in the area, they have close to, let's say 50,000 people. Corporate tech paying jobs. These people have to live somewhere. And like most people, they don't want to have to commute any further than they have to. In addition, besides Amazon, Microsoft's already in the area. Partner those two, and they've brought up Facebook, Google, and a whole bunch of other tech companies, expanded from the Bay Area on up here, as well as other startups. So let's talk about housing next. So housing, where are all these people going to live? Ground zero is Bellevue, Washington. Town of 150,000 people, so it's the fifth biggest in the state. The median home price, June 2022, is $1.5 million-ish. Bellevue is a newer city. It's got newer homes, bigger homes, but still 1.5 million-ish is the median price. For King County, that number is $850,000. Seattle is $860,000. So if you can't compete with the tech dollars, you're going to live somewhere else. You're either going to drive north or you're going to drive south. For those that drove south here to Pierce County, the median home price here in Pierce County is $560,000. So it's close to $300,000 less than King County. Tacoma, $500,000. When my dad moved up here when I was in high school, we moved out to Puyallup for the schools, be close to the Air Force Base. That is $600,000. That's the median home price. Gig Harbor, which is over the bridge, has land, cute little town. It would cost more if you didn't have to go over the bridge. But right now, that median price is $760,000. So you can see the effect of all the jobs created by Amazon and the other companies. That is ground zero. That is why the home prices, in my opinion, that's the largest single reason why the home prices cost so much in the state of Washington. So if you don't want to live in Bellevue, there's plenty of other people that like to have you. If you have questions, comments, feel free to leave them below, or you can give me a call, 253-686-7225. Let's chat.